Hello. If you'll notice, you eagle-eyed viewers, the sun's a little lower than it usually is because I just worked 2 hours longer than usual. But it gave me extra time to think about the New York Knicks. I don't know if that's actually true. I wasn't sure to talk about until maybe this afternoon. But I do want to talk about the Knicks. Mainly because they are at this point where, I think some people, it's kind of a fluke season type thing. Obviously, after Melo left, they kind of had a drought. And, even while he was there, you can't really say what they had there was really success. And I'll point out, I know it's really exciting that they made the playoffs and everything. They also lost in the first round, so just like objectively without the history behind it and everything, not like a huge standard to live up to going into this season. Like all they have to do is make the playoffs, and I think some people may predict that they take a step back and maybe be in the play-in tournament, because I've said this enough times to make myself irritated that the East is getting better. A lot of the teams, 6 through 10, 6 through 12 even, it's going to be close. And obviously the Knicks, I think, should be in the top half of that. But if not, should be at least 10, I would say. And the same goes, a lot of people think, can Julius Randle repeat the kind of season he had? Derrick Rose another year. He's getting older, and now you have Kemba and Evan Fournier in the mix. And I'll say, Kemba, obviously, for the deal they got him on, it's like 2 for 18. Yeah, he's definitely worth that. Whether he can stay healthy, and I'm not sure if he fits the mold of what the Knicks are looking for in a point guard, just because he's, a little, we'll say he's just not as good on defense. I don't know why it took me so long to phrase that, but he's not, a defensive-minded player. Obviously, it's not a lack of hustle or anything, it's just a lack of size, generally. So, the thing is, too, I think Evan Fournier probably is going to make a bigger impact than Kemba, just because, Kemba doesn't necessarily, he kind of feels a need, but I feel like, they got Quickly and D Rose. That covers a lot of ground for as far as point guards go. And I don't even know, minutes-wise, Tibbs is going to have his hands full trying to figure out how to get all these guys in the game and have them all, get shots up and everything. But Fournier feels that, if he can score 16 a game, something like that from the wing, I feel like they were really missing that. Whether he can or not, it's kind of hard. His stint with the Celtics was not great. And now I think the contract is someone was going to give him that. I don't love it. He probably is worth it, 3 for 76 or something like that. Yeah, I don't even saying that out loud, 25-year to Fournier, just sounds wrong. But, that's what you're going to have to give for a guy like that. So, doing that, and I think, the more I think about it, there really is no reason why the Knicks shouldn't be able to repeat. They brought back a lot of guys, extended Randall, Nerlens, Burks, Rose, brought in Dwayne Bacon along with Fournier and Kemba. And, what this team has, which I think something that, isn't talked about enough in the NBA, is they have an identity. And that usually, it kind of, a team takes on the persona of its coach. And Tibbs obviously brings that kind of grit and grind. I think they could steer, it kind of bit them in the ass a little bit come playoff time because, they can score enough, which I think is why, they bring in Kemba and bring in Fournier. But they have that, and I think a lot of teams sometimes, we don't know who we are, we don't know what, we got all these kind of players that don't all add up, as one. And here, I think, we got a lot of tough guys, a lot of defensive-minded guys. They play slow. They make you, make shots. And if you're having an off shooting day, like, they're going to beat you because you're not going to get that many shots in general because they play so slow. I don't see why they wouldn't just do that again. And probably, you can win a lot of games that way. So it's kind of like Virginia. And the thing about Virginia is obviously, they've won national titles, but they also were eliminated, being the first 1 seed ever to be eliminated by a 16 seed. So that's kind of the, risk reward you get playing that really slow pace. And the Knicks kind of are the NBA version of that. And I think, like, RJ Barrett, I don't think we've seen, the best from him yet. I would love to see Emmanuel Quickly actually, like, start, which, Derrick Rose being there, obviously, he's a Tibbs guy, great player, great story. But, he kind of caps the ceiling on Quickly from a minute standpoint. I mean, maybe they could play together, could see how that works. Alec Burks is always going to, is going to get some backcourt minutes. So, I don't know, Quickly, I mean, it was a great pick at 25. He's clearly, very gifted. Very good free throw shooter also, too, which I think another underrated part of basketball and something not talked about enough. Come crunch time, those free throws are huge. So I wish Quickly could, see the floor more, but we'll see how that goes. Obviously with injuries and stuff, it's good to have depth. It's just unfortunate basketball because there's only so many minutes you can, give out, and if everyone's healthy, like, it's a lot of mouths to feed in the Big Apple. So looking forward to see how Tibbs juggles all those personalities. Nerlens has a lawsuit right now on top of a new contract. Another interior defender, like, another great signing. I mean, that's one of those signings, like, I don't know, 3 for 32, something like that you're like, man, like, Nerlens is he probably could have gotten more than that. I think just from, like, a value standpoint, I think he's worth more than that. I don't know, the Knicks now are just really smart. Right now, they're not really going for the big swings. Obviously they've always been tied to, like, big free agents and just never seem to land any of them. I took that turn so slow that the phone didn't fall down. This might be the first time it won't ever. Now I'm gonna jinx it, but the Knicks are smart now. They're not taking the big swings. They're not, throwing a ton of money to sign a name as opposed to, a player that makes sense for them as a franchise. And who knows? I mean, at some point, they're going to have to catch a big fish just to, like, actually contend for a title. And I think they have a great base. And now, like, because really all they had going for them as, like, a free agency destination before was just, like, the city culture and New York, and the big city. Hey, take it easy. But now actually from a basketball standpoint, like X and O's and coach and roster, the Knicks are actually, like, even if New York, even if they played in Tacoma, then maybe some guys would be interested in playing with Julius Randle and Barrett and, Mitchell Robinson I haven't mentioned yet, got hurt, but didn't slow him down too much, and he's coming back. And I think he's between him and Nerlens, like, they got rim protection out the wazoo. So looking forward to seeing him, kind of anchor their defense as well. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if, like, Beal, I think Dame's been tied more to the Knicks than Beal has. Honestly, you put Dame on this team, I think they could make some noise. I don't know if they can win a title, but I think, they could probably give Sixers, Bucks a hard time, Nets maybe. I don't know. Dame, again, he doesn't really fit the kind of grit and grind, but, like, not very many superstars do. I mean, like, probably Kawhi and, like, Paul George would fit that and be, like, superstars. That would be crazy to see one of them on this next team. I mean, they just, they both are extended, so not going to happen. But that would be the superstar. If I'm the Knicks, I would take a look at someone who can, score 30 and also defend the other team's best player. I don't see that happening. I can't think of anyone that would fit that. I mean, Beal would be interesting just to have a elite scorer. I think that could help their team a lot. Just in those situations where it's just 5 seconds on a shot clock and someone has to make something happen. They don't really have that element. Maybe Kemba can be some version of that, but not at an elite level. So I don't know. I think they have the cap space. It's just a matter of the right time, and they're being patient, and that's I think they're doing it the right way. They built this roster up. They won some games. This is not a team now looking for to tank for picks or anything like that. They're win now, and I wouldn't want to mess with them. I think tough that the Hawks beat them. I feel like going into that, I'd be I don't want to play the Knicks in a 7-game series because they're going to beat you up. And I think the same holds true. And I think some people should really consider why they think why it was a fluke season for Julius Randle and company, because I don't think it was. I think the Knicks will be back. Again, that just means they're going to make the playoffs. That doesn't mean anything else. I just think they'll be at least as good as they were last season. And who knows? Maybe they win a playoff series. Probably not, because that would mean they'd have to beat Sixers, Bucks, Nets, and then whoever's the 4, Hawks maybe. I'm not going to say that, but I'm just going to say Knicks are going to be as good as they were last year, meaning they're going to make the playoffs. Okay? That was it. Take care of yourselves. Take it easy. And I'll see you next time.